Hey preppers, it's Matthew here from Sovereign Sustainability. We're talking about the ultimate prepper survival guide for shopping at Costco wholesale. We're gonna cover food stores, tools, medical aid, water filtration, and other supplies that will give you peace of mind for the apocalypse. Okay, we're going to break down this prepper shopping guide into 10 categories: infrastructure, power, food, water, alcohol, tobacco, coffee, medical aid, supplements, hunting, clothes, preservation, and additional. All right, now let's get into it. All right, so for when shopping for SHTF, you got to think about what kind of infrastructure you have first. So do you have any of these things listed here below? A temperature, climate controlled room? Do you have carports or bays, exterior storage? Do you have totes like this? Do you have land where you can bury something out in the woods that you can maybe resurface later if some sort of military activity happens? Do you have 100 square feet of storage? Do you have 300 square feet, 400 square feet, 500 square feet? How many square feet of storage do you have? Do you have shelves? Do you have a farm? Essentially, if you have no infrastructure at all, then you cannot prepare because you cannot store anything. And storage is a huge part of prepping. All of these things that we listed are going to be huge when it comes to shopping at Costco and at other stores for your survival SHTF storage equipment. So the first category we're getting into is infrastructure, and that's why I'm standing here on these totes right here. These are some heavy duty totes you can buy. We got these from Costco. These are 27-gallon totes. They have bigger ones and smaller ones as well, and they have different types. You want to go with the heavy duty locking kind. These ones, you got to open it properly, otherwise it locks in place. These are going to keep mice out of your food and also give it some temperature control protection from outside damage. We've had cheaper, thinner plastic totes that have a locking mechanism on the side, and unfortunately, when the mice found out that there were food in the totes, they were able to lift the plastic, bend it, and then go inside, and they ended up having nests inside of our totes. So we threw out probably 3 or 4 totes worth of survival food. Luckily, we've got a farm, so we were able to compost most of it, use some of it as bait. However, not a good use of money. You want your SHTF stuff to remain SHTF. So your first infrastructure item that if you have no land, you have nowhere to store stuff, are totes. Totes you can put in a storage unit, you can bury them underground, you can put them in the woods somewhere where only you know about, or if you do have some sort of infrastructure, shelves, that kind of stuff, you can put these on the shelf. You want to check out, there are tote storage systems you can build or have somebody build for you. If you have somebody building for you, they're anywhere from like $300 to $1,000 depending on how complex yours are, and you can slide the totes in and out of this tote system. It's one of the best ways to organize your totes. My system is a little bit more chaotic, and so I need to build one of those. We are remodeling our storage center, we call it the pink room. Once that's updated, then we'll probably have a storage system like that where you can slide the totes in and out. That's going to be your best system. And time, when they say time is money, time is also survival too. Every second you have to spend organizing or looking for stuff is time you're taking away from hunting, foraging, sandbagging your house from gunfire, running, whatever it is, whatever you need to do to survive. If you have to waste time going through your totes, then you're wasting survival life as well. All right, before we even enter Costco warehouse, we're going to go on their online store. You can order a lot on their online store to look at what kind of infrastructure items that they have. And we're also going to be accessing the website for also the other categories like food and water and alcohol and all that kind of stuff too, because you can order a lot of this stuff online nowadays. So why leave home if you can get it delivered to you? So here we go. Let's check out the website. All right, so we are here at Costco.com, and we're going to look at some infrastructure type items. Infrastructure is the foundation. It is where you're going to essentially store things. Other things could be considered infrastructure, like power and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go into those later, and those will be part of the infrastructure. But here's the thing. If you don't have a place to put things and you don't have a way to store things, well, then you're not going to have any infrastructure. So first things first, we're going to look at storage. We went over some of these totes, these 27-gallon totes. Those are awesome. They're heavy duty. You can see they've got these vertical storage sheds. They've got a safe rack storage bin rack. That's kind of cool. So looks like you can buy them here, and it's a 5-rack piece. That's not bad. I'll show also a video of, there's ones that you can construct that are wooden, and they work similar to this. You'll have to compare the price. This actually looks like it might be a better price, and you don't really need to build anything. It's like kind of built already. And as you can see, they're using the Costco totes, so it's literally designed for those totes. It looks like. Now, if these are the adjustable kind where you can set them, the only thing I'll say is that you'll have to set them to the right, size for these totes. I'm trying to see if they. Oh, yeah, it looks like they hang on there. So yeah, so this is exactly like the wooden ones that people build. So you'll see that there's this little hanger portion on each side, and so you can slide the tote onto these racks. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that these existed, and they have them here. So infrastructure, I would recommend definitely, boom, you got a 4-pack right here of those 27-gallon ones. You got a 5 tote capacity rack here, so it looks like you can hang 4 and then put another one up top. It kind of looks like you might be able to adjust the size too, so you might be able to even fit these. Oh, those are 12-gallon. You might be able to fit larger totes on there too. Totes important. You got these storage crates. You can put ammunition in there. You can put your medical aid in there or whatever if you need it to be like waterproof for some reason. Or these are awesome because you could fill it with let's say 5.56 ammo, and then you got 9mm ammo in this one, and then yada yada. Boom, you just grab it, carry it, and go. Or maybe you have Israeli bandages in one, and then you've got tourniquets in another, and then you've got antiseptics in another. It's really easy, and you can mark them. Boom, grab and go. So that's an awesome thing that you should pick up for sure. Oh, here we go. 12 tote rack right there, $179.99. Not a bad price at all. I was talking about a $1,000 wooden one. Not anymore. Boom, get this thing right here. So I'll still show you the wooden racks that people are building if you've got some lumber near you. I've got a lumber mill that throws away some wood and they barter it off. So I get some like scrap wood that's, not in perfect condition. So I can use that for basically free to build something like this. However, you also might be somebody like myself who runs a business, and my business takes up a lot of my time. So building a rack makes no sense. It's way better for me to just purchase one. So I'm probably going to be buying this 12 tote rack right here because that is amazing. So you got some outdoor shed type items as well. They have a lot of those at Costco. You can see here's a big plastic one that could work, if you have items that don't need to be stored in a temperature controlled place. This could be great. It's partially temperature controlled. It's got some walls, so it'll keep some heat and moisture and that kind of stuff out. $1,000. Looks like 8x12. So that's 100 square feet right there. So 100 square feet, $1,000. Not a bad price. And then you can go for, there's bigger ones as well. Infrastructure, you've got literal structures, you've got totes, and then you got these kind of larger, more quality outdoor sheds. Looks like they even have wood storage sheds. So now you're starting to get to almost like a legitimate structure that you could order. I know that for higher price point things, they can ship them to you. I think within 70 miles, it's free. At least that's where it is for how far it needs to go for my personal location. I can have one of these wood storage sheds shipped to me, and then if it's not already assembled, I know that they'll assemble it for you. I've got an apartment that's now more temperature controlled. It used to be just a pole barn. It was kind of like a garage, if you will, and it was literally just posts, cement, and siding. That's it. So it was not insulated or anything. We insulated it. We put electric in there. We put a spiral staircase in it, and then we did the mudding and all that on the sheetrock. Now it's extremely insulated, so you walk in there in the summer, it feels way cooler. Walk in there in the winter, it's still warmer. So not only does it require less heat and cooling to keep it at the temperature where it's at, it's naturally climate controlled to an extent. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's still hot in the summer, it's still cold in the winter, but it's not as cold and as hot. It's almost like a root cellar if you've got a root cellar. And the reason I'm bringing this up is we needed to do the floors in there. We had Costco come out and do the floors for us. So once again, depending on where you're at, Costco may come out and help you with the infrastructure. Not only can you get storage sheds like this, but if you have an almost finished structure, they could come out and do the flooring for you. At least some Costco's can, mine can. So all infrastructure. This is also that you can store stuff away. You know, totes are great options. You've got those kind of like hard canisters that you could use for ammo. They even have plastic food storage sets. So if you want to put food in there. Another thing too I talked about is burying something in the ground if there's a military type situation, which I just want to point out, boom, 20 bin organizer. That's awesome, man. Only $300. That ain't bad at all. They got these ones you can hang up too, so you can just store more stuff. So things you can store away that you don't need right away. I am loving this right now. You guys should definitely get to Costco. If you don't have a lot of storage space, boom, you can put stuff up above right here. You can organize your totes like that. You can get some outdoor storage. You could buy a freaking structure. That's amazing. And then if you have a structure that's partially finished, you can have Costco come out, send a rep for dirt cheap. I think we did the floors in there for like less than $1,000, 500 square foot room. So it was dirt cheap. This was before COVID. So prices might be more expensive now. I'm sure they are. But the bottom line is they can help you finish a structure. They can bring you a structure. You can buy and pick up a structure. You can get totes. You can get bins. You can get different things to store stuff and bury it in the woods. Like, let's say you live in an apartment. You can go out in National Forest, have a special spot that nobody knows about, bury something out there in case of emergency. So all of your infrastructure needs, you can have a lot of them taken care of here at Costco at a great price. I'm tripping out about these storage racks because, as I said, I was about to pay somebody like $500 to $1,000 to literally build me one, and I can literally just go get one for $300. So problem solved. Learn something every day. All right, so here's an image of the home-built wooden tote storage system you can build, and now we are going to transition into power. All right, so you got batteries. You're going to need lots of batteries. You got different sizes, 9-volt, AAA, etc. You're going to need a good generator in case power goes out, grid goes down. So having a good generator is key. All right, so right here you got one of these. This is a portable power station with solar panels on it. So beautiful thing about this is if the grid is down, electricity's down, you can charge your own charging station. And it's got 120 volt plugins right here. It's also got USB and USB-C. So something like this could be awesome. $650, a little pricey, not bad. Generator going to be probably a little bit better bang for your buck, a little bit more expensive, but you can store as much gasoline as you want, and that can charge just about anything. You got flashlights, more flashlights. Is that a headlamp back there? Oh, here we go. Headlamps in bulk. These are awesome, a bulk kit of headlamps. So yeah, different lights of all kinds. You're gonna need these stored away in your storage unit. More power and electric items in Costco that you should consider. We'll have those in the link below. Now we're gonna get into food and water. You don't want to stock up on bottled water. Coconut water, also full of electrolytes. Bone broth, another really lightweight, great survival food. All right, we got a Tower of ReadyWise food emergency supply right here. Up to 25 years life. This is gonna last a long time. 132 servings, ultimate preparedness pack. So only 65 bucks, that's a lot of food. It's gonna last a long time. You don't need to replace it for 25 years. So by the time you have to replace this, you're probably not gonna have to experience the apocalypse. Check with your local Costco. There's gonna be a lot of different ReadyWise and other survival type buckets like this that have survival food in them. You're gonna wanna stock up on a few of these so that you and your family are safe. Lots of rice right here, bulk. This is easy, not super nutrient dense, but it will keep you alive, and it's extremely cheap, and it'll last a long time. So definitely stock up on a lot of rice. All right, so here we're gonna have lots of vinegar. Vinegar is great for cleaning wounds. It can be used as a medical aid. It's good for storing food, so it's good for digestion if you get sick. It's a superfood. You can also make your own apple cider vinegar culture. So if you have sugar or more apples, you can make more apple cider vinegar at home, so you can almost produce more food. And then right here we're also gonna have baking soda too, which is really good for cleaning things. Also a good medical aid. You could brush your teeth with it. So this has a lot of benefits as well. All right, so we got bouillon too. This is really high dense in vitamins and minerals and flavor too. So this is a good one to have in your survival kit. And then we got beef tallow, which can be used for skin care. It can also be used for consumption, cooking. It can be used for preserving food as well. It's just another type of oil. Canned food lasts a really long time, so make sure you stock up on canned food. All right, so you got honey too, very good for preserving food. You got Manuka honey, which can even be used medicinally. It's antimicrobial, anti-parasitic, really good for you, good for stomach ulcers. So this is an awesome one to have. They're literally finding honey in Egyptian tombs that's still good. So make sure you stock up on honey for both preserving food, it's vitamins and minerals, and it lasts forever. Peanut butter powder, this stuff, really lightweight. I can throw this in a tote and it's gonna last forever. Powder, because they pull out the moisture, it's gonna have a longer shelf life. But regular peanut butter too, super high in protein, vitamins, and minerals. One of the best backpacking and survival foods on the market. So I would stock up on this or some almond butter or other nut butter. And there's tons of fat in it. Fat is like your #1 survival food. If you saw Alone season 6, Jordan Jonas literally survived off moose rendered tallow. So, and the reason why it's such a good food and why Wolverine and other creatures were trying to steal it from him is because fat will keep you alive through hard times, especially in winter. All right, so you got oils and seasonings. Lots of options for seasonings. These are a really great way that you can add a lot of vitamins and minerals to your survival foods. Like if you're eating rice in bulk, add this, boom, you're getting your vitamins and minerals. Really high density in vitamins and minerals. Lots of options. And then oils also for preserving and cooking stuff. So stock up on oil as well as some different seasoning. It just keeps going. Don't forget to shoot a like and subscribe, plus your comments below, and then we will have a link in the description with the items you need to stock for the apocalypse. Catch you in the next scene. All right, so if in your state, your local Costco can sell liquor, make sure you stock up on bulk liquor because it can cure wounds, you know, it can kill bacteria, it can do a lot of things. You can also use it to distill stuff. A lot of people got rich during the Great Depression selling tobacco, alcohol, and other drug-like stuff. So it's good to have some alcohol in your stores so you can barter it, and if you can get actual liquor, you can use it to make tinctures and wound care and all that kind of stuff. All right, so I was in the medical section, asked for help, and stuff was kind of scattered in this Costco, and it was wild and busy. So back on the website right here, we're just looking up first aid right here, some walker things, I guess, you know, could potentially invest in something if you think somebody's going to get injured. Gloves, definitely want gloves. Stock up on gloves. You're going to want those for a few reasons. One, hunting. If you're, you know, field dressing an animal, cut yourself, get some weird bacteria in you, you can get sick. In the apocalypse, in the rapture time period, you know, end times, you're not going to have access to a hospital if you need one, / you probably don't want to go to the hospital. So you want to reduce your exposure to bad things. And so gloves are going to be important, you know, especially because you don't know what you're going to be hunting. You know, one thing you got to think about is once shit hits the fan, if everybody in your neighborhood starts shooting all the deer and elk and whatever animals you have, you're going to run out of your typical big game, and now you're going to be looking for predators and other weird animals like ravens and crows and birds and, you know, whatever food you can get your hands on. And so if you're hunting predators, for sure, bear, wolves, other animals, they're dirty creatures, coyotes, you know, whatever you're going after, foxes, cougars, they're much dirtier animals than your herbivore type creatures. Typically, you know, herbivores, you're not going to run into things like trichinosis and whatnot, but wolves especially, not that you would ever eat a wolf, but hey, maybe in a pinch. I've eaten skunk before, and so if you're in a situation where that's your last source of food, wolves are extremely dirty, and so are other carnivores. So you can get a lot more bacteria and things. You got to be very careful when you're field dressing one, or maybe you're field dressing them for the pelts. But also it's good for medical aid too. Like let's say somebody gets in a bacterial infection. Let's say staph goes around during the apocalypse. Well, let's say you're also starving. So you're starving, staph is going around. That staph could take your life. So you need to be more careful. And so using gloves like this can protect you from staph. Whereas in an environment like today where we have medical facilities, you're not going to need, I mean, it's still good to use gloves, but you don't need them as much because in a pinch you can go to a hospital. Although I still recommend using them. You get what I'm saying is in a apocalyptic type situation, everything's going wrong. So you need to reduce as much exposure to things going wrong as possible. So gloves, important. We really need, so pain relief, it'd be good to have some sort of pain relief stuff. If you can get this Excedrin and other painkillers, ibuprofen, etc. in bulk, probably a good idea. These Advil PMs, probably not a bad idea to have those in bulk as well in case you're in a lot of pain and you need to go to sleep, sleep is important. Okay, so I probably typed it in wrong, but here's a first aid kit right here. I like how this one is this soft bag, and it's almost like a little backpack you can carry around. 217 pieces in it. So it looks like it's probably got bandages, gauze, probably has some antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic type stuff. Looks like it's got some things to wrap wounds. We can open this up. Let me do a better search. All right, so first aid kits. Okay, so on here, I'm not seeing too many. Looks like they have this little mini one right here, which if we zoom in, it looks like it's got, so this one is interesting. It's more of a safety emergency kit. So this is interesting. This is definitely very SHTF. You got the hard bag, you got flashlight, you got a little blade there, you got some sort of gloves, you got tape, you got batteries. I'm wondering if that looks like it's maybe like a cup. This looks like a something to like indicate you're in trouble so you can flag somebody down, but let's look at it. It looks like it's got jumper cables in it too. It's got a tire inflator, LED flashlight, reflective emergency triangle so you can flag somebody down. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. $50. I don't know if I'd pay that for these things. I feel like you can get a lot of this stuff, and some of these things, the emergency triangle, I don't know if I would ever use that. Jumper cables are good. You should definitely have those in your vehicle. Oh, it looks like you can also pump up a tire too. So yeah, I mean, not a bad kit. You should probably have these in your car. This is good SHTF too if you need to get out of the area. Throw these in your car. Back to the medical stuff though. Okay, so this is the main first aid kit that I'm seeing here. It looks pretty heavy duty, 217 pieces. Looks like a decent sized kit, probably better than something you'll find at Walmart. I like that it's a soft case so you can throw it around. You can throw it on your back. You could fit it in a backpack. So that's awesome. Makes it great for camping, as it said. It's not like a plastic that can break. So that's good. Most of the items in medical kits too are pretty flexible in that, like, if you were to throw this bag, you're not going to break anything in there. So looks like we've got bandages. Awesome. You're going to need a lot of those. You've got more gauze/pads and tape. That's good. You're going to need that kind of stuff. Bigger bandages. It looks like, can't really see what the text says, but looks like you've got some alcohol prep pads. So that's great. Kill any bacteria when you're operating on a wound. You got scissors. You got an ice pack. You got a field guide. That's pretty cool. So it shows, CPR and basic first aid skills. So that's pretty awesome. It's got gloves. It looks like it might have one of those. Looks like that might be Mylar, that emergency blanket type stuff where you can make a shelter, or if somebody's like overheating or freezing, you can throw it over them. So yeah, this looks like a pretty excellent kit. It's got a lot in here. Still stuff you're going to need to buy, but for bulk stuff, this actually looks like a pretty solid kit. It's got a lot of bandages. It's got some wound sealing. That's pretty cool. Looks like an Israeli bandage right there. Mask and glove. Yeah, so there's a lot in this kit. This looks like a phenomenal kit. It's got those swinging zippers. I love those. I have those on my tactical bag. You'll see them in the video. Awesome kit. $60. Not that bad at all. More extensive than a Walmart kit. Still some things you need to add. There's more trauma-based stuff that you'll probably want to add to this. Tourniquets and other things like that. But this has got a lot of the things you're going to need in bulk for $60. Not bad. I'd probably get a couple of these, throw them in your first aid kit. Lots more stuff you can get. This looks like the main thing though that Costco has. If your store has it, great. If not, get it ordered. You should definitely, I would recommend getting at least one, but you probably should get a few of these. You're probably going to want to stock up on some vitamins, minerals, fish oil, whatever supplements you take. Although I typically avoid supplementation because I think you need to get your nutrition from whole foods. In an apocalyptic type situation, you're going to want to have things that are nutrient dense. And if you run out of food, this could keep you alive. You got some trail cams as well as some binoculars right here. So you can find some of your hunting gear here so that you can supply your own food during the apocalypse. Walkie-talkies, good for communication. Base layers, you're going to want to make sure if you live in a cold climate you have what you need to survive the winter, because you're not going to be buying clothes. So stock up on lightweight, cheap stuff that you can get in bulk that'll keep you warm in winter. Got some waterproof gloves right here, so make sure you have a good set of those put aside in your survival bag. Plus, you want those, base layers as well to go underneath the gloves, keep you warm. You may even want some of these hand hotties. Pop them in your gloves and your boots so you don't freeze. All right, so we got our All-American pressure canner right here. So good thing right there, so you can can up some food, some of your vegetables that you're growing in your backyard. And then you got your mason jars in bulk. Make sure you stock up on those. You'll need those for winter. We got sugar right here. all kinds of different sugar. You just want some cheap bulk sugar. You can preserve meat with this. You can continue a kombucha culture with this, so you can produce more kombucha or apple cider vinegar. And then on top of that, you can also use this in your food as well. So great survival food, good for preserving stuff. So you're gonna want a lot of sugar as well as vinegar and oils in your food stores. You're gonna want some salt for the same reason you want sugar. This is gonna help preserve meat and other foods. Plus, you are absolutely gonna need salt for your own nutrition as well. Salt is an absolute must so you don't get sick and die. Garbage bags, especially contractor grade bags. If you're a hunter, you're gonna wanna have those in your storage unit for sure. Toilet paper, paper towels. You guys remember COVID when everybody ran out of toilet paper and paper towels. Got children, you're gonna wanna make sure you stock up on diaties. And ideally, you wanna get some cloth diapers so you don't run out of stock. I'll link everything in the description below, and I'll have a printable checklist that you can print out so that you can go to your local Costco and check off the list for all the items that you buy and put it in your survival kit. I hope you like this video. If you can do me a favor, please like and subscribe so you don't miss another prepping guide tutorial from Sovereign Sustainability. And also I want to mention that every Costco is a little different. Every time of year is different. So you're going to find different things at your local Costco depending on what state you're in and what time of year it is. So keep an eye out for those deals and discounts and try out different Costcos so you can get everything on the checklist below.